I have owned my Yeti for over 3 years now. I've done short camping trips in it. I've lived in a van with my family using this Yeti as our primary cooler. Overall, it's done me really well. And so in this episode, I want to talk about the 10 best things about Yeti coolers. Hey, I'm Ryan from thecoolerbox.com. Yeah, I purchased this Yeti cooler around 3 years ago and it has held up really well and is basically in similar condition to when I bought it, apart from some wear and tear that it has from use and from being bashed around, which is something you can do with it. So what are some of the best things about the Yeti cooler? The first best thing is the ice retention. This cooler keeps ice so much longer than a regular cooler. I did an ice test on this, which I'll link up down below, and I showed that I was able to keep ice for over 10 days. Now that was in perfect conditions and completely full of ice, so you're looking at more around the 5-day mark of keeping ice, but in everyday use, when I was living in the van, this would only be maybe half full with ice, and it definitely kept ice for around about that 5-day mark, which was really good. It's not the best in the industry compared to other rotomolded coolers. One of the best ones at the moment is Kong, which I'll link up to down below, but it is still really good and so much better than a regular cooler. Just means you're buying ice less often, you can stay off grid for longer, it's just less to think about when you're traveling, just keeps your food cooler and so there's less food wastage there. The second thing is the durability and the strength of this cooler. We actually use this cooler as a step for my kids to get in and out of the van because the van's quite high. So it kind of sits there, it gets stood on a lot, it gets used and abused. They're just made to last. Now, these things are just, you can drop them, you can throw them around, you don't have to worry about this cooler. Whereas other coolers, I have a Coleman Extreme, you do have to be a bit more careful. This one, my kids can jump on it, I can jump on it, and you just don't need to worry about it. It's just built so strong and so durable, and as I said, it's been 3 years of use and still in great condition. So the durability and the strength are one of the best things about this, because you just know that this product is going to last you for so long, no matter how you use it. The third best thing, and one of my favorite things about it, is the style and the branding of this cooler. Doing a lot of cooler reviews, I've seen and purchased a lot of coolers. I review them and then I'll hand them off over to someone else, give them away as a gift or resell them. And this one I kept because this is the most beautiful cooler on the market in my opinion. It's very hard to explain in article reviews or in videos just how premium this feels compared to other coolers. The color of the plastic, the color of the white, the finish of the plastic, even the finish of the top, the way the branding is done, the branding on the bottom as well. Everything is just done really well. I've had some other coolers and they just have these minor issues with them in the way where the plastic is finished or cut off. There's just lines where there shouldn't be lines, whereas Yeti is just smooth and beautiful and the branding is done really well. And there's a reason why Yeti is a lifestyle brand that people aspire to versus some of the other coolers on the market, which just talk about capacity and ice retention. So the style and the branding of this is second to none in the cooler market, and owning this just feels good. It just feels good to own a Yeti. I love my Yeti, even though I don't think it's the best cooler out there for the best price. I love it and it gives me the feels. And so yeah, that's number 4. The fourth best thing is the premium quality. So you got the styling, you got the branding, but you've also got the premium quality of it and the way that it's built with things like your single pin hinge on the back. So there's one hinge that runs all the way through. Just the quality of the plastic is really high. The quality of the finish as well as the insulation. You can be pretty certain when buying a Yeti that there's not going to be insulation holes in it like you see in some other coolers, because they're just built to a higher quality standard. The rope handles as well are really nice, Everything is just really nice about this cooler, and it just feels like premium quality. The fifth thing is the non-slip feet. Now, I actually talked about this in my video talking about the problems with Yeti coolers, but it's actually one of the major benefits as well, these non-slip feet here. It just means that you can put this in your van, in your truck, and drive around, and it's very unlikely to move. It's only when I brake really hard that this might slide a little bit in my van, but even when it slides, it doesn't just slide and crash like another cooler might, or some other stuff I haven't tied down right. It just slides really slowly, and so I love that I can just put this in my van, not even have to worry about tying it down, and just go driving with it. So the non-slip feet are great for that, as well as because my children are going to be standing on this, I don't have to worry about it slipping out from under them. So those non-slip feet are really cool and just make it really hard to move this cooler, and so it just fixes it in place. The sixth benefit is that it is leak proof. Okay, so I think I did a review on a Coleman Extreme to see if that was leak proof, or maybe it was a regular one, and you tip it to the side and water just comes gushing out. This one, if it falls over, it's not going to leak. It's got this seal on the inside here, which I'll show you. It's got this seal all the way around it, and while the seal isn't perfect, so it's not going to be airtight, there is a tiny gap there. When you close this down, it is quite a firm seal, and then you pull down the lid with these latches, it's going to keep that cooler leak proof. So if it does get knocked over, if it does drop, it's not just going to pop open. So I've got this Coleman Extreme here, and there's just nothing to hold the lid down. So it's just a bit of friction that holds it down. So if this was full and was to fall over, the contents would push the lid open, stuff would go everywhere. That doesn't happen with the Yeti. It's leak proof and it's going to be protected from that. The seventh best thing about the Yeti is the longevity of it. So we talked about the durability, we talked about the strength of it, we talked about the premium quality, but the longevity of it as well is something that I love. As I said, I've owned this for 3 years now. As you can see in the video, it's still in really good condition. If you have a look at the lid, then you will see that there are some scuffs, there are some marks on there, there are some minor scratches, but overall it is still holding up really well and still works exactly the same as it did on day one when I bought it. So I can see myself still owning this exact same cooler in 10 years time and taking it on adventures with me. So longevity is a big thing. Number 8 is that it's dry ice compatible as well. So you can put dry ice in here if you want to keep things absolutely frozen. Dry ice is colder than regular ice, so you can use it and it is dry ice compatible. Now, one of the things with dry ice is that it turns from ice into a gas, which means it's obviously expanding. So you want to wait for that gas to come out. So you can just leave the latches open and let the gas seep out that way, or you can just keep it closed and then down the bottom you can undo this a tiny bit to let some of the gas out there. So it's probably not even going to be an issue if you're using it constantly. It's only if you're going to put dry ice in it and leave it for a couple of days without opening it that the pressure could build up in there. The 9th best thing about this Yeti is that it's bear proof. Now this isn't something that I need to worry about because I'm not camping in bear country, but if you lock the front here, the front 2 corners with padlocks, it is completely bear proof and bears can't get into it. If you don't lock it, they can, because they can rip open these latches with their teeth. But if you lock it, no bear's going to get in there, which means your stuff's going to be safe. Also, locking it keeps your stuff safe from thieves as well. If they were trying to steal your food, like if your friend is trying to get your favorite chocolate bar, then you can lock it there. And the 10th best thing about Yeti is that their other products are just as good. So here I have a Yeti Lowball, which is a 10-ounce cup, and I've had this one for about 3 years as well. I got it a little bit later than when I got the cooler, but this cup has just held up really well as well, and it's just stood the test of time, and I continue to use it on a weekly basis, and I absolutely love it. And so all of Yeti products, their hard side coolers, their soft side coolers, their tumblers, their water bottles, everything is just really good condition and really good quality. So I love that Yeti is a brand that you can trust. You're not going to be worried about purchasing a Yeti and it being a dud and not being very good. They are the premium brand in the marketplace. They make good stuff. They make stuff that's high quality. So you might pay a bit more than you might pay for another brand, but you know with Yeti, when you get it, it's going to be good and that they're not cutting corners in order to build their product. They're over-engineering everything, and all their other products are just as good. So there you have the 10 best things about Yeti coolers. I love this cooler. I've had this for a number of years and I see myself having it in the future. So maybe there'll be a future video with me with a grey beard and grey hair still talking about this cooler, but time will tell. So far, it served me really well. If you are interested in getting a Yeti cooler, then I will link up to it on Amazon down below, where you can see the full range of Yeti coolers as well as the prices and other customer reviews of it. That is an affiliate link, so if you go through that and purchase something, I do get a small commission, which helps out the channel. So if you do that, thank you very much. I'll link up to that down below, but I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you are in the market for a cooler, then you can check out my website, thecoolerbox.com. I've got a whole bunch of reviews over there. Or what I'll do is I'll link up to a video I did talking about the problems with Yeti coolers. So if you're considering a Yeti, there are some problems, there are some things to consider before you go ahead and purchase it. So go ahead, check out that video, have a watch, and until next time, stay cool.